Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual View. We are so delighted that you are here, and we're so grateful that you've joined us today. My name is Ceree, and I am one of your hosts of the Spiritual View, along with some lovely ladies who are here today. And we have the June monthly forecast and a wonderful agenda to go with us today. We're going to be talking about June's theme of the summer solstice, which is actually happening over the last day and the next couple of days, as well as the impact from the full moon, not only of today and the themes of June, but some repetitive themes of the Capricorn moon that will also happen in July. We're going to be talking about some of those themes and the ancestral implications, and we'll get an overview of the Akashic Records, which will talk about the records of the soul. Then we're going to walk through each of the houses of the zodiac, like we've done many times before, and we're going to be talking about what do we need to be letting go of and what do we want to be inviting in. So it's going to be an hour with a lot of power, a lot of information. Again, we'd love you to like, subscribe, and share. We do a monthly video, which you are watching tonight, but we also do daily videos on the channel, and those are listed in the description box below. We'd love you to like, subscribe, and share, and also comment, because we are giving a free reading away next Friday as a result of today's reading. So please like, subscribe, share, and make comments, and we will put your name forward for the free reading that will be drawn and communicated next Friday. Would love to introduce our members of the team, and I'm going to get started just asking everyone to say hello to you so that you know who we all are.
Hi guys, I'm Jen with the Awakened Jen Tarot.
Hello, I'm Dawn with Astrology and Tarot Alchemy.
Hi, I'm Angi with Learn Love Tarot.
Hi, and I'm just Wendi.
Hey, I'm Elizabeth, True to It Connections.
All right, welcome, ladies. So we've got a great lineup today and a lot of content and information. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Angi, who's going to give us a wonderful introduction of the significance of the summer solstice and the full moon and the implications for each of us as a collective as we look at this month of impact. So Angi, over to you.
Thank you so much. Well, I made a little spreadsheet, a little graphic organizer there. Can take the teacher out of the classroom, but not the classroom out teacher. So we're going to go through a little mini lesson here, just so we get a visual of kind of what the energy feels like as we move back and forth between a new moon and a full moon. And that's going to happen every single month. So just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like every month, we're going to make it a metaphor for a roller coaster. So on the next slide, we are looking, just for an example, January 11th, the new moon is always going to represent the bottom of our coaster. It is when we set our intentions. It's when we put our manifestations out into the world. It's when we plant the seeds of our desires. And it is also a time when we do our forgiveness work. And it's not about whether we think we need forgiving or not. We're putting that energy out there. You can use Ho'oponopono as a way to do that. And that's just a great cleansing ritual to do every new moon. Also a great time to sage out the old energy. You can move counterclockwise through your home with sage, and then bring in the new moon energy as you move clockwise through your home. So then at the beginning of January, the beginning of every month, we have a new moon, okay? And that is going to be the sign of that month in general, okay? The degrees are where we can look at our chart to see where we might have that new beginning. So on your chart, if you know how to use that, the 20 degrees 44 Capricorn is what you're going to look for. And you're going to go, oh, okay, I might have a new start in my career and public roles. Okay. And then at the end of January, we have the full moon, and that is the exact opposite, right? So now normally Capricorn's opposite would be Cancer, but this year we're a little wonky because we had the leap year. So it's usually the sister sign across the hall, but this year it was the full moon in Leo as we get to the top of the sign. Now that is the time when we can picture what it's like to be at the top of a roller coaster. You can see everything around you. You can get a whole view of the park. The light bulb turns on. It's where the full light of the moon, it's where we've waxed on, right? And that is where we see, ah, or it's our aha moment. It's that Ace of Swords light bulb moment. We can see things that we have not seen thus far. Then, for example, we go back down to the February new moon again. As we're going from full moon to new moon on that roller coaster, whether or not we're throwing our hands in the air like we just don't care, depends on the ride that we built from the new to the full moon, from the red to the hot pink, from the masculine to the feminine energies. Now, think about that as being a builder. From the red to the pink, we are building the tracks up to the top. We see kind of what we did at the top. We get more ideas then to add into our manifestation of what we want to do next when we hit that full moon. We're going down the coaster because, of course, we did an amazing job at building our tracks. And if we are going, oh crap, that was a terrible ride, it's kind of, we get what we get and we don't throw a fit, but it's only for a couple weeks. Because by the time we hit that new moon at the bottom, for example, in Aquarius, now we can reevaluate. Now we can go, that wasn't such a hot ride. Let's rethink this. And then you can build new tracks as you're going then up to the next full moon. So if you think from January to June, we've done this cycle, we're going to do that 6 times. So as we look at the next slide, we have those 6 cycles. We have that same building from the bottom up to the top, and then we get to the full moon, and then we go to February. Start at the bottom, February new moon, get to the top, February full moon. And that pattern continues until we reach now, which is the summer solstice. So on the next slide, what we're going to think of, our summer solstice as one big roller coaster. So starting at the new moon in January 11th at 20 degrees Capricorn, that's when we put out the major wish. That's when we put out the big plan, our 6-month goal. So that's going to be kind of the realm, if you want to think about it that way. And then every month we would have a different house, we get a different ride. And then the kind of ride that we get is the room. So if you're going outside and working in, that's kind of a way to think about how to use those energies. But the summer solstice is going to be our one big roller coaster from that January winter. We're in the whatever seaboard that you are residing in. We are having summer now, but you may be in the middle of winter if you are not here in the States. So one big roller coaster from January to June, and that is manifestation to culmination. And some themes you want to think about, it's when we're planting new seeds of the new moon, okay, our ideas are going out. We want to know how much we're going to grow. We're figuring out how we're going to grow. We're backwards planning from the outside in. Right around March, I didn't want to include first quarter and third quarter moons, but if you know a little bit about that, from the new moon to the full moon, we come to that first quarter moon. So it's the halfway point of your building. Okay. So you're building your tracks for a week. Boom. Now you have the black and white cookie moon. If everybody knows, if you're not sure what I think everybody's seen a black and white cookie moon. It's when the chocolate is on the left-hand side. That is the first quarter moon. Okay. And that is where we're like, okay, now it's time to step up the action. Now is the time of anything that the house is being built. We're like, oh crap, we decided that we want a basement. We better go and dig more so that we have a bigger basement. Now is the time to take action on any of those changes. That would have been around March. Now, when we come to June, we are able to then pluck the 7 of Pentacles. Now, instead of having to wait, now we go into the 8 of Pentacles of now we can take those flowers, we can take the plants and veggies. If we're growing our own things, we can take them to market. Because had we picked them too early, obviously those would not sell. Okay, so we're kind of waiting on the right time. And then that pop kind of feels like an energy pop if you feel energy at the top of the June coaster. Now, some just an idea from 6 months on of what that summer solstice kind of means. Again, here, if you're experiencing summer now, I know that's flipped for my peeps there in New Zealand and other places in the world. So we'll just flip that energy. Capricorn's very grounding. It's very earthy. It's when you're ready to dig in and make changes. I have a client that is a Capricorn sun, and she noticed a pattern that from every January, it's like, oh my gosh, what is happening here? And then by June, everything is calmed down. Now, if you have other major planets, that might be what you consider as you're planting your seeds the next time January rolls around. We can focus on mindset. We want to get to the heart of our manifesting. I kind of think Capricorn is when it's the point where you're sick and tired of getting sick and tired, if that makes sense to you, and you're ready to do something about it. Endings and beginnings, of course, January to June. That would be a new beginning to a culmination. And then now, as we move from June to winter solstice, we start again, and we're going to come all the way back down and kind of reap those last 6 months. So remember, you have the mini roller coasters there every single month to kind of tweak and move as you go along. At the top of the coaster, remember, is divine feminine energy. So we're going to be in our feels. That is a time when we maybe write down, our next wishes. You can really do them. There's no rules. It's energy. You can do that really anytime. But on a full moon, I like to write my gratitude list. I like to go over what has gone well. And you know what? I'm not going to be like hard on myself on a full moon because I don't want to call that more of that energy in. I just want to go, I'm learning, and next time I'm going to do it this way. It's a revelation even for ourselves of where we maybe made those missteps. Okay. Transformation energy. I mean, if you don't feel that every single month, especially if you have a lot of water in your chart, boy, oh boy, are we not only just feeling those 2 weeks of the wax on, wax off, right? We are feeling the little dips and valleys every 2.5 days as the moon moves through the signs. So know if you're a water sign that it's not that you're just moody. You are just very, very affected. We are all affected, of course, by the moon. It controls the tides of the ocean. It's very silly to think that we're not. It's not woo-woo. It's just physics. But if you have a lot of water in your chart, yeah, you're going to be way more sensitive to those energies. And I found it very helpful to understand what sign I do wonderful in, when I can best do my readings, days that I'm just going to lock the door and I'm going to stay home and do a spa day, because that is not a good time for me to go out. And I know that by watching the patterns, and you can do that too. If you keep track on the calendar, just track your moods for a month. Notice as it goes through all those 12 signs when you're feeling what kind of ways. And that is going to help so much the next time we come to our new moon in January and we reach our summer solstice. It's going to help you plan a little bit better of when to do what when you're more capable, when your energy is higher and lower. It's all a pattern, right? We learn every year what crops did work, what crops didn't work, what were the factors that determined whether, how much we watered, right? We take those things into consideration, but then we adjust and we go, you know what? I planted way too late. I put those seeds in way too late, and next year I'm going to plant them 2 weeks earlier because I noticed X, Y, or Z. So it's really just about watching the patterns. I could talk forever about it because it's flipping fascinating to me, but I thought this will be a way to kind of help everybody else out there have a little geek out too, and why we get so excited here at the Spiritual View, not just about moons, but astrology in general. So I hope this has piqued your curiosity. And if you do understand just a little bit more, I wanted to give you a little teaser on the last slide. If it's TMI, it's fine. Just go with the masculine, feminine, action, relax, action, relax. That's all you got to know. So what I think is interesting this year, because we got a little bit off of our pattern, is that at that new moon, so the bottom of the coaster, we get to the top of the peaks. Let's say it's the first peak there here this month in June of the full moon. Next month, instead of having a full moon in Aquarius, because that's what will be next, we peak back around into Capricorn. So this full moon tomorrow is at 1 degrees. The full moon in July 21st, is at 29 degrees, which is also an anaretic degree, which is a topic for another time, or else I'll start geeking out over that. But it's kind of a big one. It's kind of a, oh, if you miss the test of your summer solstice at that first peak, we have a little chance to come back and do a little loop-de-loo back in the same energy. And that last peak will be revisiting Capricorn. You missed the ACTs, the SATs, here's your makeups. And I know Dawn is going to help us flavor in here and add an extra layer with the astrology. And we thought that would be fun. So thank you so much for doing that for us.
Is there anybody that has any questions for Angi before I move forward a little bit? No questions? Okay. We have the summer solstice that on the 20th. Earlier this week on the 17th, at 0 degrees, Venus and Mercury conjoined. So they are traveling together. Now, Cancer, the solstice is, because it's at 0 degrees of Cancer, when the sun moves into Cancer, that's that very much that 4th house energy. Usually that's where your IC is located. That is the most personal part of you. It's your ancestry. It's who you are at the most basic level. And it gives you an opportunity, I think, because we have Mercury, that communicator, and Venus, you know, that that it's kind of a blending of the world of being able to speak to yourself in a loving way is what I look at it as. So that I see is being able to communicate with yourself. I know that Ceree is going to be speaking about the Akashic Records, and I think that is a beautiful tribute to what Cancer usually symbolizes to people, that family, that ancestry, who we are at the deepest level. And I think as we go through this next 3 months and taking that energy of what happened at the very beginning, where we had Mercury and Venus and the sun, all that closely conjunct, which, I mean, they usually have to stay pretty close together, but they're not that close all the time. I think that is a great energy that we can utilize and take forward with us as we're going through the rest of the summer. So I will turn this over to Ceree, and she can let us have a little bit more information about the Akash.
Hello, everyone. We've all been geeking out about what we love. So it's obvious we love tarot and astrology. So we're going to add to the list with the Akashic Records, because that's what I geek out on. So most people don't even know what it is. So I'm going to ask Jenn to bring up the slides, and we're just going to go through a really simple discussion about what are the Akashic Records, why they exist, and how do you actually utilize them, and what's the learning for your soul. So if you could advance the slide. I wanted to give you a little bit of information about what does Akashic Records actually mean. And when I was introduced to it, I actually had a reading about 5 or 6 years ago when I was absolutely obsessed with finding out information about the records of my soul. And so Akash or Akasha is actually a word from Sanskrit, which means primary substance, from which all things are formed. And so the Akashic Records have been referenced across many sacred texts, from the Bible to the Hebrew Bible, the Quran, and mentioned in many writings, including the Buddhist writings, Egyptian, and Tibetan. And so it's been referenced throughout history as the records of the soul. So think of it as your soul records in the cloud in a modern day perspective or way to look at it. But it actually is a record of each soul's journey over many lifetimes of incarnations and journeys in the soul's mission and purpose of what they intended to learn and master in that particular incarnation. And what's interesting, from if you study angels or archangels, Archangel Metatron is the guardian of the Akashic Records. So the records have been here since time was created, and it is a fascinating experience to be a reader in the records itself. If you would advance the slide, Jen. There's really great information that comes from the Akash. And readers that go into the Akashic Records are trained to actually go in and find out information about your particular soul. There are many, many lifetimes that we have lived across times, universes, timelines, and it is fascinating to tap into the journey of each individual soul. What I do as a practitioner is I spend a lot of time in the records going through questions that people have actually asked about the journey of their soul. And what we do is we access the vibration of the soul in question and think about the soul and the records being in the quantum field. So this is very much a vibrational conversation, and it's around accessing the essence of that soul over whatever lifetime they have interest in, and gleaning the messages and learnings of that lifetime and how it applies to your journey today. So what I do is I spend a lot of time with individuals helping them address repeating patterns, maybe life cycles where there was a lot of pain or trauma, or relationships with family members or loved ones, romantic relationships, people that have been in different roles in different parts of the journey, and that they're together again. And what does that actually mean? And so you can find out a tremendous amount of information around what is it that you actually came here in this lifetime to learn, to master, and to grow. And I think on a soul level, it is so fascinating to tap into many of our other lifetimes that help us become the highest version of who we are today. It's really a gift, and I am so blessed with the ability to read for people and to help them figure out all this stuff, these ancestral patterns, these experiences that they've had, and what does that actually look and mean in the world today, and how do they navigate to understand why are they here, and what is what they're trying to master and to learn in this lifetime. How did they become the best and highest version of who they are? So that's a really short description of the Akashic Records. It's really looking at the records across multiple lifetimes, tapping into those soul personas, and literally translating that into who these people were in past relationships and who they are today. Why did you come here in this lifetime? Why did this happen before? And it helps us and informs us around living the best life according to why we came to this planet at this very time of this great transformation that we are all experiencing. And we all chose to be here. So it's a lovely and fascinating time to exist on the planet. And it is an honor and a privilege that I carry to be able to go into the records as a reader. So I was also asked if there was a message today. Thank you, Jen, for doing the slides. I was asked today if there was a special message, and when I go into the records, I speak to a group called the Record Keepers or the Wisdom Keepers of Light, and they impart messages to the soul based on what you're ready to hear, not always what you want to hear, and sometimes they don't answer my questions. And my role is to be the translator. So I literally transcribe messages for the soul in question or whoever I'm reading for. And so I ask a question today, what is the collective message from the Wisdom Keepers of Light that they would like all of us to know today? And this is reflective of the first half of 2024. What would they recommend as a collective? And this is their advice for what we need as humans to let go of, because we're here as a soul. Most people think that we're human and we might have a soul somewhere within, if they believe that, but not everyone believes that we are a soul first. And they are here to tell us all that we are, in essence, souls that came to have mastery and experiences to help us grow and expand our vibration, our life force. And they want to tell us what they'd like us to let go of, as well as what they would like us to focus on in the remainder of 2024. So consider this a very simple channeled message from them that I got from them this morning. They said, "We are honored to be asked your questions as they are very wise to ask us. Our guidance with the energies that need to be released are quite simple. We would say that fear is the greatest energy we would ask you to release. For humans have been enshrouded in fear for many centuries, and it is a very strong energy and emotion, just like the emotion of denial. As they say, denial is not a river in Egypt." They have a sense of humor as well. "We ask you to surrender your fear and to shift your energy to focus on love. What is happening on your planet Earth is part of this huge energetic shift, where the old world structures that have existed for eons of time are being broken down in order to be rebuilt with the new frequencies of love, of peace, of harmony, of compassion, of kindness. Let go of what does not make sense on your planet, because there are a lot of things coming to you that do not make sense. Your brains want to process things in a certain way, but your hearts are telling you something different. We recommend being an observer versus a participant in all the news and the drama and the chaos around you, and not listen to the negative energy that is being spread. And to understand that no matter what happens, this is all just a transition of the energy, so it's to be expected. Do not fear it coming. It's to be expected. If you choose to be in the vibration of love, peace, and harmony, this is actually what you will be reflected in your external world around you. And the opposite is also true. There is also an amazing amount of light frequencies coming to the planet, which is changing the density of your planet, the density of your human physical bodies. And we ask you to set the intention as well to allow the light to be integrated into your physical and emotional selves. Be in the light and be of the light. Again, be in the light and be of the light. If you follow these simple principles, you humans can accelerate the collective consciousness being raised on your planet. And the power of this shift will truly shape and change the future for this earth for all mankind. You have the power collectively to alter the earth's future reality in a fundamentally positive way. And every voice and every soul matters. Ooh. Sorry, I just got emotional. Whatever small thing you do, be in the vibration of love and act with compassion, peace, and kindness. It has an exponential effect. That's what happened this morning when I did it. And that's from the Wisdom Keepers. So what they're asking us is to be heart-centered and to get out of our brains, which many of us, including me, have been in for a long time. So again, these are ancestral messages for us, and it's our choice moving forward. That's my timer. Sorry. And so we have the choice of being able to move forward in the flow of love and be in our heart center. And even if there's chaos around us, no matter what happens, If you ground yourself in love, that is what is going to get us through this. And collectively, if we are in our heart space, we will create a change in this world like we've never seen before. And that is the channeled message from the Akashic Records today that should help us as we transition through. Now, I'm going to end my part unless there are any questions from anyone. Yes, Angie.
So I thought that was such a beautiful transition. I
sorry.
want to kind of tap back on what Dawn said as far as what she meant by we're ending in the 4th house and that energy of Cancer. So if we're thinking of the roller coaster analogy, when we start at the bottom of the coaster, that's 10th house. That is Capricorn energy. That is going to be about career and our public facing roles, just to kind of water it down a little bit for understanding. So we go from the 10th house, right? And we're climbing all the way up. So we're going 10th, 11th, 12th, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So the top of the summer solstice is the 4th house of our foundation, our caregivers, our ancestrals, and then being able to speak into the Akash, talk about ancestors, like thousands of years, not just, human years. This is way beyond our comprehension and understanding for a lot of people. So it's really too, when we get to that top of the coaster, the love and the gratitude and the appreciation is so very important here, because you got to remember, then that's what you attract. We have to be loving to ourselves and not judgmental about our journey, because we're learning. And if we're in an energy of sadness or the 5 of cups and focusing on the 2 of cups, and on the 3 that are broken instead of the 2 that are still there and viable, then we're just going to continue that pattern of sorrow, and then we attract what we're feeling, and we're not even meaning to do that. So I hope today that we've brought in kind of a little mini lesson of manifestation as well, of how to do that and when to do that, when it's best timing to put out your wishes, when the energy is best serving to take those action steps. And then if you're thinking from January to June, going from that 10th house, that is where that energy has traveled. And all these are different life areas. Our houses are the life areas we're experiencing the energy in. Okay, so, and Dawn also mentioned that we had Venus, we had Mercury. So it's like, hey, I'm the sun, I'm in my little coaster cart, and then Jen the Mercury and Dawn the Venus comes in, and we squeeze all in together, and we're taking this ride together. So if that helps you kind of think about astrology in a different way, and we're making that information more accessible to you, I really hope we have done that today, and I hope that was helpful. And it was so freaking cool to end it with the foundation house and Cancer and home, and the real home of the Akash of our soul.
That's
So
great, Angie. Thank you. And what you felt in my emotions, it's interesting, when I take on the collective, I feel what's going on in the collective, and I just felt this tidal wave of emotion. And if I could just even say one thing, if you think that your voice doesn't matter, it does matter. And all of us together can truly change the energy and the future of this planet. I really believe that. So if you've ever felt small, you've ever felt insignificant, please reconsider the fact that you really do matter. All of our voices matter. And I just saw this huge tidal wave of love just, sweeping over the planet. And so I think moving forward, there's so many opportunities for us as souls to reach our full potential. And the Akash is where we tap into that to help guide us into being the best versions of who we are and why we came to this planet. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Wendi, who is going to introduce our tarot portion, which is actually going to encapsulate and to summarize the themes that we've been talking about from the summer solstice, from the full moon, as well as from the Akashic Records. And Wendi, delighted to turn it over to you.
Thanks, Ceree. That was a really beautiful message. I loved that. Yeah, so I'm gonna start us off with going through all of the houses of the zodiac. I'll do the first and second houses. I'm gonna pull 2 cards. The first will be what you want to release and let go of from the last 6 months, and the second card will be what you want to welcome in and be open to in the next 6 months. So the first house is the house of self. That's how you express yourself. So let's see what cards come up for. So for letting go, I've got do not drink poison, do not do things you know are bad for you. Okay, so you want to let go of that. So if you're, doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing, just stop and let that go. And in the next coming months, we have all in the golden afternoon: inspiration, creative spark, imagination, conception. So imagine all of the things that you can be and let it flow, right? Now, for the second house is about personal finances, material possessions, what you value, your inner self, your wants, your needs, your abilities. Let's see what cards come up for that. Okay, so we want to let go of uncertainty. So choose who you will become. So all of those doubts that you have, you need to release those. Just let those go out into the ether, honey. And then you are going to, for the next 6 months, set your course, okay? It's know where you wish to go, have a plan, and the right direction. So, really think about what it is that you want. That's what we've been talking about. You want to manifest, you want to, think about what is it that you want? What do you need? What abilities do you have? And trust those, and go ahead and move into the future with that. So going into the third and fourth houses will be Dawn. Dawn, go ahead.
Hi, and I just pulled the cards just now and I'm laughing because they are so perfect. So for the third house, what we want to release, and this is about communication, and it can be about siblings, your local community, things that you do on a daily basis. And the card that came out of what to release, hello, 5 of Swords. And I was laughing because it's like this argumentative, this noise in your ear. To me, that's the news cycles and news channels, and what can they gossip about, the same thing in the community, what's going on there, what's na 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 na. So I think that is something that we need to release. We don't need to be part of this energy, because that's going into the fear, that's going into, it's like the ticker tape at the bottom of all the news channels, of the ticker tape of doom, I've heard it called, because they want to keep you watching. So that energy is what we need to release. And that is for that third house. It's communication, it's siblings, it's all those things. And I think that's what we need to turn off, is that kind of noise in our life. And then what we want to bring in, the 8 of Pentacles, working on, and I think this is a good opportunity with that solstice energy to, how they say, carry water, chop wood, right? Do your thing. Do the thing that, this is someone who's working, but it's a work that she loves. It's like, okay, I can settle in and concentrate on what is important to me. And that's what this is saying, is that communication in the community. I'm just working, doing my thing, and I'm happy. And that's a good vibration just to have all on its own, because that's a vibration that carries to other people, even if you're not talking about what the latest tragic thing is going on, right? You're just being yourself and doing your thing with joy. And I think that is a really important thing to go forward. And so for the fourth house to release, 4 of Cups. stuck energy, fear of missing out. And what is she doing? Ignoring that beautiful bit of magic that's out there. So for me, that's getting rid of envying other people, of, what are they having that I don't have? And the beautiful energy that came in, what we should be bringing in, Archangel Michael, knowing that it takes patience, knowing that he is going to put things in our path, that it's synchronicities that we need to watch out for, and that he's got our backs. So to me, that's a very strong message of tune into not fear, not strife, not gossip, but that higher level of doing what you can do and letting that light shine and knowing that the universe has your back. So I will turn this over to Elizabeth, and you can go ahead and take it from here, Miss E.
Okay. Hey. Hi, everybody. I'm so geeking out. I'm going to go right to the cards, and then I got a couple little things I want to say because I didn't get to talk. You guys know how much I like to talk. All right. Are you ready? Are you ready to geek out on this? 10 of Swords. Like, you guys. And I want to put something personal in here too. I lost a friend, breast cancer after me, and I believe she passed in March, and nobody told me. And I went right to anger because I was sad. And at the root of that is fear. So as you walk around and everybody's up in their head, like her card and my card, and know that this is your third eye here, this chakra. You're blocking it. You're up in your head. You're angry. You're scared. Oh, everybody take a breath. Let's let it go. This is a 10. We're going to go to a 1. And then look what I got. Frigging, excuse me. Friggin' 9 of Cups. This is where, just hang on there. The roller coaster she's talking about, it's getting better. Your hard work's paying off. We're going to see the cup is half full. We're going to bring love in. And this is a good time to do a little of that inner Cancer emotional work, And with Mercury and Cancer, I think it's a time to really listen to your internal voice and understand where that fear is and what you need to let go of and how to bring in more balance for your emotions and your perspective. That's 5th house. I'm sorry, that was for the 5th house, you guys, which is about creativity. It can be about your children. It can be about love affairs, pleasure, risk taking. So you could be really up in your head about all of this, I don't, there's so many topics I could bring up, right? In that 5th house. But let's go into the 6th house. Okay. Let's just take it day by day. We're clicking along on that roller coaster. But there's blocks because we keep hitting this energy of confusion, maybe fear, anger, all of it that Ceree and everybody here is tapped into today. This is a stalemate. 6th house. So we're talking your health, your daily routines, how you feel about work and exercise, and the things that really affect your daily flow. Because if you get stuck in the stalemate, it also blocks your intuition. So what you need to bring in, King of Wands, the creativity, the passion that we're talking about, the love, and lead with it, right? He's a leader. His crown's a little crooked, but that's because he can see the silver lining in all of this. Sorry for blocking the light. So as we go through this little roller coaster of life right now, and it seems a little harder than usual, Neptune and Pisces at 29 degrees, let's go there. Like everybody's in their feels. And then you throw this this full moon energy at us. It's a lot. And I hope next time we can, maybe revisit our treasure maps, ladies. And, this is a good time for all of you listening that maybe caught our first episode, or that's something in your wheelhouse. It's a good time to kind of tweak your goals and what you should let go and what you want to see come forth for the rest of this beautiful year we're looking at. Thanks, you guys. I love you all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was lovely. Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, guys, so for seventh house of relationships, committed partnerships, best friendships, situationships, business smart, any ships, all the ships. So on the pre-shuffle, bottom of the deck, environmental energy was the King of Pentacles. So that is trying to bring stability. Fixed signs are all about the kings. That's Taurus energy. And when we come to the culmination of that full moon in Capricorn is about bringing ends to tough cycles. It is from whatever started in January. If it was an ish show, this is the tough end. This is the end of that tough cycle in June. So that is some good news. So let's see what's going on here with what we need to release and let go. I think of that as what room needs a light on it. What room needs the light on? 9 of Swords energy here. This is the nightmare siren, stinking thinking. We are not getting our rest. And literally, when we do not feel good about ourselves, how can our partnerships feel good about themselves? That's nearly impossible, right? So if we can only meet someone to the level with which we know ourselves, and we're here in this business, all this anthropologist is trying to do is get some dang sleep so she can do her thing and study all of the people there, the mer people, all the peoples, the human peoples, and she cannot do her job when she doesn't have any sleep. Our body can't do its job when we don't have any sleep. Our cells are not able to regenerate, okay? So a light needs to come on in that room. We need to we just need to let the ish go, because we need to release control of what we cannot control. Okay, this is stinking thinking, overthinking. The mind is ruminating, and that again is rooted in fear. So we come back to that fear nucleus. Okay, that is us making up and filling in the blanks with information we simply do not know. Okay, what we need to reach out for or welcome in. What flower might be opening with what seeds we planted in January? I don't know. What kind of flowers might come to bloom right now here in the 7th house of equilibrium? Sharing is caring, communication, justice. It's all about partnership, right? So it has to have some equality. Oh, well, mermaids just want to talk. They want a mermaid. Dang, Gina. So here is the Chariot energy. Talk about relationships. I love this card for the Chariot energy. And it's Cancer. Hello. So that's kind of insane, but we'll take it. What I love about this one, we are talking about partnerships. What do we need to bring in? This is not one person in the Chariot doing all the work. It's not one person tapping into their intuition and bringing in their masculine and feminine energies into integration so they can drive the Chariot with their intuition. This is both people working equally in balance, in unison, in equilibrium to get in that Chariot together. And not only that, it is a seahorse. So that is indicative of role reversal. So stay-at-home dads, working moms, you go with your bad self. You know what? And guess what? The judgment call is here. If changes need to be made in that relationship, here you go. And this 7 of Swords is different from any other 7 of Swords in any deck I have. This is about taking what you need from the mistakes. They're not mistakes, they're just learning. So we're coming around full circle. We are evaluating at the top of the coaster. I see the park now. I'm going to take those mistakes, turning them into learning experiences. I'm going to take that pain, transmute it, and turn it into action of how to make it different the next time. Okay. All right, eighth house. Eighth house is the house of Scorpio, the house of secrets. What is hidden in the deep? Okay. And eighth house of Scorpio. I mean, Scorpio is the sign, the fiery water sign, right? It used to share the sun with Mars. So excuse me, it used to share Mars with Aries. So now it has its very own planet, Pluto, which is the table flipper planet. And they are going to come in and turn everything in the 180 degrees to the other end. Okay, so this Knight of Swords is determined. See her face and how she is keeping her eye on the ball, because that wave is so big and so fast that if these secrets get out of control and you are not focusing on your sword of truth, that wave will swallow you whole. Okay, so what we need to release is not paying attention to what the heck we're doing. We are not just letting words fly out of our mouth like toothpaste, because people, that toothpaste does not go back in the tube. And then if we're taking a new start with somebody just to run away from whatever we think we need to focus on, guess what? Same lesson, different meat suit. Just because you change people doesn't mean you get to change the lesson you're supposed to learn. All right, what else here? What do we need to open up to? What flowers opening for? Oh, yeah. This is my jacked up Ray LaMontagne card. Hello. Mama's home. So King of Cups. Wow. What we need to open up into and bring out of the depths is what we want in a relationship. What is our secret? What is our secret desire? What do we want to bring to culmination? Don't let it hide at the deep, deep bottoms of the ocean. Don't be afraid to share your feelings, right? We don't want to keep what we want to invest in. We don't want to keep those contracts. We don't want to keep what we want to do with another person and adult time fun to ourselves. You got to communicate that. Bring it up from the bottom of the ocean, and that makes a happy family. If both people are happy with all that together in that partnership, then there doesn't have to be any secrets. Sorry, that was a little long-winded, but that was fun.
That was like wowza.
All right, great. Thank you. And I'm going to be doing the ninth house, which is connecting to all things expansive. Our thoughts, higher level learning, spirituality, our belief systems. And today, because we covered the Akashic Records, I'm using the Akashic Record Tarot. So what we're trying to let go of as it relates to learning our belief systems, our spirituality. This is a beautiful card called Reflections. And really, it's all around tapping into our intuitiveness, our psychic and spiritual gifts. And what gets in the way of this is fear. And when we have fear, we actually shut down. And so if you think about the messages from the wisdom keepers, they ask us for letting go, was to let go of the fear, because this is a block to our ability to accept our gifts of being the soul that we came to be on this planet. And so that is what, for the ninth house, around spirituality, belief systems that we're letting go of. The card that I pulled for what we want to bring in the ninth house, ruled by Sag and Jupiter, is called Birth. It's a beautiful card of new beginnings. And so think of this card as the beginning of a new cycle. So what has to end ends, and that's fear. We've talked about fear that must leave us in order for us to receive this new cycle and way of being on this new earth. And so it's our opportunity for the next 6 months to really bring in this new energy and to have that voice, and not to be afraid to say who we are as a soul. But what's gotten in the way has been fear. And I think Spirit is asking us to close out that fear and bring forth the birth of a new cycle. The 10th house is related to career, our achievements, recognition, and around our public image, ruled by Capricorn and Saturn. Now, what's interesting, the card that I pulled here was called the lightning bolt. And this is similar to the Tower card. So what we're being asked to let go of is something that is coming out of the blue, perhaps around career, something that might not be expected, and something that is not necessarily what we bargained for or asked for. But again, if you look at this through the lens of what needs to be cleared around career choices, achievement, the question that we should ask ourselves is what we thought success and achievement and recognition was in the old world. As we are migrating to a multidimensional way of living, how is that transitioning and changing? And sometimes a lightning bolt or a tower is the most beautiful way to allow this to happen. Does it come oftentimes out of the blue and with surprise? Absolutely, it can. However, it can be the biggest blessing if we invite that in. What Spirit is asking us to invite in is a card called the Queen of Keys. And I'm going to just say it, she's badass. She's dressed in a gown of rich colors. She knows what she wants. She's a woman of authority. She's very thoughtful. She's very confident, and she is acting as if she's already manifested this new world and this new opportunity. So in some ways, it's like the Queen of Pentacles, but she is really on point with what she wants, and she's inviting in this new opportunity to redefine life path, life purpose from the lens of what the heart says, I'm here to do. And so if we look at the messages from the wisdom keepers, it's about the soul's journey through the heart, not through our head. What we're letting go of is that old way of being and thinking about what we want to be recognized for. And it's moving towards the journey of the heart and the soul. And that's the 9th and the 10th house. And I'm going to turn it over to Jenn.
All right. Oh, I did amazing. And fear has really like been the big theme of letting go. And so I'm doing the 11th and 12th houses, and I actually took a different direction than everybody else. I'm using my Art of Manifestation Oracle cards because we have been essentially talking about manifestation. So I just asked the question, what can we do to help bring our manifestations in? And for the 11th house, we got empower yourself. Empowerment does not mean that we have the power over others. It means that we have power over ourselves. We honor our capacity for free will and conscious choice while honoring the same in others. This card asks you to evaluate your present situation and to take ownership of your right to choose, with the recognition of the entitlement of others to do the same. And so the 11th house is about how we're interacting with those around us, the ones around us. And so with the empower yourself, the thing that I got out of this is really our power is in our choices. And the thing that typically holds us back the most in making the choices that we want to make is the fear. So that's why I connected so much with, the fear message that has come out with everyone, because that is the thing that we have to let go of in order to be able to make the choices that are truly moving us towards the things that we're wanting to bring into our life. And I like that it did mention in this that we have to give other people that same grace to be able to make those choices that they need to make for themselves too. So like if you have these connections that you're not wanting to let go of, you have to give them that freedom too, to have their free will to make the choices that are best for the best aligned for them as well. All right, and so for the 12th house, I got mistakes. So I connect the 12th house with our dreams, and with the mistakes, if you feel that you have made a mistake, or indeed someone else has done so with impact on you, please do not feel bad about this. Treasure and value your mistakes and those of others around you. They are the cutting edge of our personal growth and evolution. Lean into the learning and celebrate your openness to grow. So mistakes are just opportunities to learn. So like we've got to be able to let go of the guilt or the shame or whatever we hold on to when these mistakes show up in our lives, and just see it as we learned something. We gained knowledge that we didn't have before, so we can make better decisions moving forward that are moving us closer towards the things that we're actually wanting for our lives. All right, so I'm going to turn it back over to Wendi, who is going to wrap it up for us.
Thank you. Sorry, a little technical difficulty. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled cards for next steps for the collective. Okay, and there's a lot underneath that kind of encapsulated a lot of stuff that we all talked about, because you've got that Seven of Swords, that came up with Angi's, and like, definitely, take what works for you and leave behind what doesn't. We've got the Six of Swords, moving on to a new school of thought, change the way, get away from those old patterns of thinking and be open to new things. The Hermit, definitely self-reflection, looking into ourselves, and also, trying to be that light for others as well, in moving forward. And, that all that anxiety with the Nine of Swords, the losing sleep, and just, trying to not hang on to all of those worries and anxieties. And then, of course, the Eight of Pentacles coming through with the, doing the work like Dawn had, and then, for the next steps, I got the Fool, the Magician, and Judgment. So we're definitely, starting a new journey. These are all major arcana. I mean, it's a big deal. There's a big change coming through. We have all of the tools that we need. This is yourself, but it's also, being ready to move forward into the future. And then we've got, I think this is kind of a nod to the Akashic Records with the Judgment card, and just, our past lives that help to push us forward and why we're here. And, it all comes full circle. It all comes together, so even though we are having this kind of new birth, this new path that we're going forward on from leaving all those things behind, we have the tools to do it. We can move forward, and we have the support of, generations and generations of millennia past. I also got, as a final outcome, the Two of Wands, looking towards that future. That's where we're all headed. So I think that kind of sums it up for us all. And with that, I'm going to hand it back to Ceree. She's got a final message for us. Thank you.
All right, everyone. And I wanted just to thank all these lovely ladies. We represent a tapestry, and a tapestry, you could say, is one big rug, but I think we're a multicolored, multifaceted group of readers. And what's beautiful about this is that we all bring our unique gifts to the table, and we're all giving and supporting one another. And we hope that our messages to you today are in spirit of all of us growing, learning, and expanding our consciousness, but living up to our soul's journey and who we came here to be. So we hope that the messages around the Capricorn full moon, what do we need to let go of? What do we need to bring in? What is your journey of the soul? And how do we release fear and welcome in the new? And how do we respond and act in accordance with why we came here to begin with, to be the best version of who we are as souls on this planet? And what is our soul telling us about mission and purpose? And as we move through the houses, we've got some great messages of what we can be letting go of, as well as what we can be inviting in. And all of us are here to say, we're here with you on the journey, and we are very grateful and respectful of the time that you spend with us. Please visit our website. All the information is in the description box below. We do have monthly readings as well as daily readings. And if you would like to find more information about any of us in terms of private readings, we also offer those as well. With this, we are going to wrap for today. We are humbly grateful for you joining us. And I'll close with one thing. Your voice matters, your energy matters, and you matter. And don't forget that. With that, we're giving it a wrap. Everyone say goodbye. We are so grateful for you. We love you. Thanks so much.
Mm-hmm.